Welcome to the Smart Cards video tutorial on the GED Social Studies Practice Test. This tutorial is a review of the material on the test, and it's also going to give you an idea of what you should be studying for, as well as what you can expect when you take the test. So let's go ahead and get started. The chart below describes the 4 methods used to amend the U.S. Constitution. Which statement correctly describes an important way that the process of amending the U.S. Constitution is different from the process of creating federal laws? As we look at the chart, particularly the column labeled Step 1, in each of the 4 scenarios, we see that it is the legislative branch that's responsible for amending the Constitution, whether it's the U.S. Congress or whether it's a state legislature. That would give us answer option A. This excerpt is from an article published in the Washington Times in 1908. Which concern about the original method of selecting senators is implied in the excerpt? According to the senator, the new proposed method for electing senators to the Senate will prevent men from buying a seat in the Senate. This implies that the original method failed to prevent men from buying a seat in the Senate. This would give us answer option A. The chart below describes the 4 methods used to amend the U.S. Constitution. What does the word convention mean in both the chart and the 17th Amendment passage? Does it mean cultural tradition? Does it mean formal assembly? Does it mean agreed upon contract? Or does it mean preferred writing style? In this instance, the word convention means a formal gathering or a formal meeting or a formal assembly convened by the states. This would give us answer option B. What do the passage and graph indicate about the United States in the 20th and 21st centuries? Let's look at the passage first. One of the greatest victories for advocates of women's rights was ratification of the 19th Amendment to the U.S. Constitution in 1920. The 19th Amendment stated that the right of citizens of the United States to vote shall not be denied or abridged by the United States or by any state on account of sex. Now let's look at the graph. The 19th Amendment was ratified in 1920. That would be the 4th data point in the graph. And we can see from 1920 to 2011, women representatives in the House of Representatives has seen an upward trend. We can conclude that this is directly related to the 19th Amendment. That would give us answer option B. Type the appropriate session of Congress in the box. The number of women representatives who served in the blank Congress was twice the number of women representatives who served in the 101st Congress. Here's the 101st Congress. And there were 29 women who served in the 101st Congress. The question is asking us to double, twice the number, double 29, which would give us 58. Where is 58 on the graph? It's right here. There were 58 women who served in the 106th Congress. Which statement explains the number of women serving in the U.S. House of Representatives during the 65th Congressional Session? Let's look at the chart. The 65th Congressional Session was convened in 1917. This was 3 years before women were given the right to vote due to the ratification of the 19th Amendment. Because women didn't have the right to vote during the 65th Congressional Session, it's no surprise that there were no women representatives in the House of Representatives. This would give us answer option A. This definition of sustainability is from the U.S. Environmental Protection Agency, the EPA. Sustainability is based on a simple principle. Everything that we need for our survival and well-being depends either directly or indirectly on our natural environment. Sustainability creates and maintains the conditions under which humans and nature can exist in productive harmony that permit fulfilling the social, economic, and other requirements of present and future generations. Sustainability is important to making sure that we have and will continue to have the water, minerals, and resources to protect human health and our environment. Which three graphs relate to the concept of sustainability? Click on the three graphs that you want to select. Here are the 5 graphs. We're looking for 3 graphs that are related to human survivability as well as nature and the environment. When we look at the 5 graphs, we see that there are only 3 that are related. World population growth through history, tropical area deforested from 1990 to 2005, and global oil consumption. Use the information below from the Congressional Research Service to complete the graph. The United States has spent large amounts of money since the turn of the 20th century to support involvement in major wars. From 1917 to 1921, the total cost of military involvement in World War I was around $20 billion. Approximately $296 billion was spent on World War II military operations between 1941 and 1945. The United States spent nearly $30 billion to wage the Korean War from 1950 to 1953. From 1965 to 1975, the years spanning the Vietnam War, the United States government spent about $111 billion on military efforts. Click on 4 blue bars and drag them onto the graph to show the amount of spending on each of the 4 wars. This task is pretty straightforward. The shortest bar will represent the $20 billion spent on World War I. The tallest bar would represent the nearly $300 billion spent on World War II. After that, we have the $30 billion that represents the military operations in the Korean War. And then we have the second tallest bar to represent the nearly $111 billion on the Vietnam War. Much of the 20th century was marked by the Cold War between the ideals of capitalism and communism. Drag each phrase into the correct box to show whether it is associated with capitalism or communism. This task will require a little background information about capitalistic societies and communistic societies. Stay tuned for another Smart Cards video tutorial which will provide instruction on the difference between the two. As it stands right now, the United States is a capitalistic society. Our society is driven by profit motives, private ownership, and competitive markets. The other 3 characteristics, state ownership of all property, income redistribution, and classless society, thus are communistic societies. Thanks for watching. Don't forget to give us a thumbs up if you like this video tutorial, and don't forget to click the subscribe button. Thanks a lot. Bye.